Hello there. Well, the verdict is in. The Bell Hotel in Epping stays open to business as a hostel for illegal immigrants. Who can therefore be surprised if the people of Epping do not pick up the placards and start their protests all over again? And this time, it'll be serious. What do you reckon, Richard?
Yes, it's going to be very serious, I'm afraid. I'm really very worried. This government has just declared war on the British people. This ruling, it's absolutely hideous. It sends a message out to everyone now from the government and the establishment that those people in those hotels are worth more than you are. You watching this, you are not worth as much. Those people hold more value than they do. That's the message. That's come from the judiciary. That's it. The system has said it. There's no ambiguity left, you know. I just can't get over it, Jeff. I think the establishment has overturned this ruling because they're frightened. They're frightened of protests. But at the same time, they're trying to say that the protests themselves shouldn't be used as a way to change the law. And I'm like, okay, so not listening to the public should have no bearing on the law. Okay, well, that's now firmly established. Thank you very much. You've laid down... I'm hoping people are going to stay very sensible this weekend. That's all I'm going to say.
Yes.
Because I fear that they're not going to. And I do worry about this, Jeff.
Now, I'm just going to play you this video. Where was this from? One from, Richard?
I think it's Sky News. It's of the actual judge giving the verdict.
Oh, right, yes, it says Sky. Right, let's play it. Let's just play this.
The Court of Appeal's decision on the Home Secretary's appeal relating to joinder as an intervener to the Council's application. The Court of Appeal grants the Home Secretary's application for permission to appeal against the decision dismissing her application for party status and further grants the Home Secretary intervenor status in the litigation between the Council and Somani. The Home Secretary has clear statutory duties towards asylum seekers in this country under the Immigration and Asylum Act 1999. These include the duty to provide support to them and their dependents and to prevent destitution among this cohort.
What about the destitution of the British people? Okay, there are people sleeping on the streets. What about their destitution? I'm just too angry, Jeff.
No, a lot of people are going to get angry. Now, I'm going to say the following, just to make sure everybody understands. This is a ruling against a temporary injunction. The temporary injunction stopped the hotel being used until a decision to be made, yet to be made on the 22nd of October, is made in the Court of Appeal. Okay? The trouble is, those judges that made that decision today are part of the Court of Appeal. So they've already laid out their stall. As far as I can see, the Court of Appeal level has set out their stall of how they view the place of the government, the place of the asylum seekers or illegal immigrants, and the place of the hotels, and the place of the people around them. Okay, the ordinary people of Britain. And that's what worries me, is on the 22nd of October, when the court case comes up to decide on a permanent injunction comes up, it's at the Court of Appeal again. Now, I don't know which judges are going to be involved, but it just says to me that the Court of Appeal has already sort of set a precedent in this. They put their oar in, and I don't know how fair I'm being to the Court of Appeal, but I do just have to state that. Now, as you said, Richard, the protests at Epping had actually stopped following that original injunction, that temporary injunction, waiting to see what would happen. But now I gather that people are beginning to get together again to start their protests again. And when we're told that protests should not sway government decisions or how we run the country, what the hell is the point of the right to protest then? Is that just so we can be ignored? Is that so they can shut you behind the fences? Remember that Epping? They got all those fences, haven't they? Sit behind there. You just do as you're told, sit behind the fence, do as you're told, and be quiet while you're protesting over there, while we get on with the serious business of looking after the people we want to look after. That's the message coming out of this lot. That is the message coming out of it. So the government can just basically ignore the people, except once every 5 years when they allow us to vote. Remember, they've just cancelled and postponed elections recently so they can reorganise local government. So yeah, it's and it also, the judge, I gather, also said something about the police using their powers to control the protests and all that sort of thing. And you're just thinking, wait a minute, this sounds more like a police state than a free democratic state. If the government looked after the people of this country, we wouldn't be doing this. They wouldn't be doing this. Epping would not be happening. All these protests across the country wouldn't be happening. But they're not looking after the people of this country, are they? And is planning law really that important then? This is all based on planning law. If we can just ride roughshod over that and not worry about it for a certain cohort, why not just let everybody build what they want, where they want? I mean, this is just ridiculous, the whole ruddy thing. And as you said, vulnerability. The asylum seekers are vulnerable. That's it. How about the locals, who their children have been warned not to walk in certain areas? I just find that absolutely unconscionable. But anyway, the 22nd of October is when the council get their second bite of this cherry. But do you know something? I can sniff it in the wind, can't you? Can't you sniff it in the wind which way this is going? And also, they didn't half have a go at Mr. Justice Eyre, didn't they? That judge, God dear, he handed down a slapping, didn't he? Made it look like the guy didn't know what he was doing, basically. You know, he said, this was wrong, that was wrong, everything was wrong. And I'll tell you something, neither the government nor Epping Council come out of this very well. Neither of them. The only thing, and this is the real kicker, the only thing that has got this to the national attention is because the people of Epping protested. That's what got this here. It did. And that's why Kemi Badenoch is telling people to get out, protest and get your legal challenges in. It's working. It's getting it up into the national consciousness. So when the judge says, protest, you've got to sort of keep them away and we'll get on with all the good stuff over here. No. Protest does work.
Yeah.
Because the Council of Epping let that hotel run for 3 years.
Exactly.
3 years as an asylum hotel. They let it happen. And it was only when the people of Epping got really upset that they started the legal proceedings, and they did it at the rush. And the judge said they didn't even send an initial letter of we're about to take action. You know, a letter before action or whatever they call it. Anyway,
Jeff, it says, I mean, I've just been reading some stuff. I mean, basically, it's almost like the judge was saying today that upholding the law might encourage protests. That's effectively what was being said. That's another way. If you want, you can read it that way. That's the way I'm reading it. That's just my own personal opinion, of course. Yeah. And the message is very clear, though. It is that if you fight back, you will be punished. You know, that's it.
Yeah.
There is going to be no. Don't tell us what we can do with hotels. Don't tell Keir Starmer and his government what to do. I mean, you know, it's basically, we're talking about 138 men, I think, in that hotel. I might be wrong, but
yes,
I think it's 138. Yeah. And they were forced basically into a hotel in a small town. Okay. We know what's happened. Allegedly, there have been allegedly certain events that have taken place there, which I cannot go into. But the locals fear for their safety. They actually fear for their safety, Jeff. It's not
Yep.
like they're being racist, like the Home Secretary and all the rest of those effing idiots are trying to make out. Oh, no. And the judges, oh, no. We can't have people's feelings trumping the rights of the asylum seekers. These people desperately fleeing war in France. Yes. Sorry, doesn't cut the mustard.
As Real Bacon Wins says here, get fired up and stay frosty, patriots. Yeah, absolutely. We've got to get fired up, stay frosty, but don't start anything violent. That is exactly what they want you to do. They really do. I couldn't put it past them. Few hotels kick off, they'll put an emergency out. This is a national emergency. Everyone stay at home while we sort this out. You can imagine them doing it, can't you? And as Muttley says, I don't live in Epping, can only imagine how they feel. Yeah, I can only imagine it as well. Now, I point out, I'm not going to comment on this one way or the other, but Guido Fawkes put this up on his website. Today, 3 judges ruled in favour of the Home Office and overturned the temporary injunction blocking asylum seekers from being housed in an Epping hotel. One of the judges, Lord Justice David Bean, has a history of Labour links. Bean was a former treasurer for the Society of Labour Lawyers. The group openly calls itself an affiliated socialist society, providing legal and policy advice to the Labour Party and to Labour MPs. Now, I'm not going to comment on that. That's Guido Fawkes saying that. I'm sure he has his reasons for saying that. But he then went on to say, the judge who initially granted the temporary injunction, Mr Justice Eyre, stood as a Tory candidate in 4 elections between 1987 and 2004. Lord Justice Bean was also a founding member of the left-leaning law firm Matrix Chambers, whose former members include Attorney General Lord Hermer and Mauritius Chief Legal Advisor on the Chagos surrender deal, Philippe Sands KC, both close friends of Keir Starmer. Now, of course, the judiciary is totally independent. They look at the law. They are cold and calculating and legal eagles only, aren't they?
Absolutely, Jeff. Absolutely. Just to say anything else would be, it would be doing down our judiciary. And we know that they're of impeccable character and they only want the best for this country. There is no bias there whatsoever. It's blind justice, obviously. The fact that they're closely affiliated, by the looks of it, if these allegedly closely affiliated with Sir Keir Starmer, is just coincidence. Ladies and gentlemen.
Now, that was Mr Justice Bean, but there were 2 other judges there as well. And this is what Peter Lloyd, the suffragette, put up on X. And he was talking about breaking. The Home Office has won the High Court battle over Epping's Bell Hotel thanks to 3 Labour voting judges. Justice Bean from Society of Labour Lawyers, Nicola Davies, a Labour voting feminist, and Justice Cobb, who wanted to undo Brexit. Now, I'm not going to comment on that at all. Surely they would never, ever do anything. And anyone who thinks otherwise,
Yes. We don't even know if any of that is true. It could all be just coincidence. We are simply reporting what people are reporting on. And
absolutely.
Yes, that's it. We have no opinion on that whatsoever, do we, Jeff? No,
definitely not. It's Ben Habib from Advance UK has come straight in, and here we are.
Hang on. Yeah, I've got something to tell you, Jeff, in a second. Actually, you might. I'm just going to sneeze in a minute, if you know what I mean. Okay. Yes, but you read that out first.
Yeah, Ben Habib. He was talking about Keir Starmer, saying he wants to shut illegal migrant hotels, but fights tooth and nail to keep them open. Against the wishes of local residents and the local authority, the Epping Hotel will now stay open. So much for democracy and the security of British citizens. Illegal migrants are more important to Starmer. The government in contempt of the people. Again, now that's a good line, isn't it? Not in contempt of the court or in, all the rest of it. In contempt of the people. And I can see Ben Habib and Advance UK moving ahead quite strongly in coming days and months. And just to fill you in on that one, they passed the 25,000.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
membership thing, and there's going to be an announcement in Newcastle next month. I think I'll have to check up on that. Anyway,
And I just have to say,
then.
yeah, sorry, Jeff's about to read something now, and he's going to laugh when he reads it. I sent him.
Oh, I am.
Yeah.
Richard.
Yeah.
I'm going to sort you out later.
What? Actually, yeah.
Complete. Oh.
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, this is not a time to be laughing.
God.
But yeah. We'll leave this for now, Jeff. I just made a mistake, and it's a catastrophic one, and it's a good one. Never mind. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen,
do you know something, ladies and gentlemen?
The one man,
the catastrophic mistake he made was having me panicking for the last 15 minutes trying to sort all this out to get it going, and I could have waited a little longer. Anyway, Richard.
Tis true. Sorry, Jeff. Anyway, no, but basically, we really just mention Ben Habib, the one man who can bring some sense and civility to the situation, the real grown-up in the room. Honestly, he is the one man who can bring some potentially peace to this country, because it's looking scary. And I do hope we've got a weekend coming up ahead, and we now know that. We now know that basically Epping has been thrown under the bus by the government, by the establishment, and please, to everybody who's going to be protesting this weekend, keep your cool, please do, because the government has just waged war on you. Don't think it won't do the unthinkable and do mass arrests of people if things get out of hand. They are looking for the excuse now. They're primed for it. They're ready. Don't give Starmer what he wants. And that's going to reiterate as well about the 13th of September, which Tommy, reiterate what Tommy said. You have to be on your best behaviour for that event. Jeff's going. I'm not. I have to be here because Jeff's going. Long story. There we go. That's the way it works. Otherwise, you don't get the live streams, and Jeff gets all in it is. So, but basically, yes, your best behaviour. Your best behaviour, ladies and gentlemen, on the 13th and this weekend. Come on, we're going to teach. Let's teach Starmer who the bloody. No, I've got to be careful here. Just teach Starmer one thing, and that is, we are the people. We will win. We will not lose. We will not back down, and we will protest peacefully. The protests will always be peaceful on our side. Yep. If anything else happens from the other side, that's their thing. And let them deal with that. The police should be dealing with that. I hope the British public are not going to be pulled into... Because when I say the British public, I'm talking about our side, Jeff. Okay? Our side are the British public. There's a very small minority of agent provocateurs, of the far left, of Antifa, who are looking for trouble. And somebody else wants that as well, and that's Mr. Starmer. That's Mr. Keir Starmer. Mr. I didn't know, it didn't cross my desk, that thing about Jimmy Savile. I didn't.
No. Yeah. No, it didn't.
No.
Yeah.
Jeff.
So Dean says not enough people are protesting. I think this is going to start taking off now, especially if on the 22nd of October, the court case goes against Epping and that hotel stays. I think things are going to get interesting. And Lynx Temp says, fix bayonets. Figuratively, of course. And someone points out that the Home Secretary is an imbecile. Just before he came on, I was watching Patrick Christys on GB News, and he was looking at the camera saying, where is Yvette Cooper? Where is he? Where's her statement? Where is she? Where's her statement? And you suddenly think, yeah, okay, because Dame Angela Eagle came out and said something in response about this, saying that 35,000 people had been sent back out of the country. Now, that figure of 35,000, as Patrick Christys pointed out, doesn't seem to have changed in the last month or so. You know, it's always been 35,000, hasn't it? The same 35,000. And she also said something about the hotels the use of hotels for this has halved since 2023. Of course, they came in last year, which is 2024, and since then it's gone up 8%, hasn't it? The number of occupants of hotels. And if this judgment goes in the favour of the government, it will almost be like permission to use hotels going forward, won't it? Oh, you have to find any accommodation you can because the rights under the ECHR of the newcomers trumps everything else. Now, it was made quite clear by someone on the telly today, this afternoon, that the lawyers for the government didn't actually use that argument in court, but it was part of their skeleton brief, which was put forward to the court. So it's there. It's there, ready to be used in future, as far as I'm concerned. And I think it will probably form part of the skeleton argument for the next phase as well, because that's an appeal based on what was put into this particular, the temporary injunction. I'm not an expert in any of this by any means.
Yeah,
but,
Jeff.
Yeah.
The thing is, what they've now said is, okay, so you might win in court, but we will now crush you at appeal. That's where it's going to go. And there's going to be another appeal now, as you said, in October. But I'm sure that will also be crushed once again. What we've got here is effectively a blueprint for silencing all communities across the United Kingdom. Every town and council now will be thinking to itself, oh, okay, right then. Well, what's the point in trying to get these hotels shut down? Now, hopefully they will still fight on. All these different councils across the country. Even there's one as well. A Labour, is it the Wirral? Is it? I can't remember which Labour council it is also looking now to appeal against their asylum seeker hotel, and I think. I think we can still win. Everyone can win. We just got to keep fighting them. Don't let them win. Just don't let them win. Okay?
No,
and
don't
that
let
means
them win.
for the councils and for the people protesting, turn up, do what you got to do in terms of take your tea, a cup of tea, a flask of tea, some biscuits, some sandwiches, stand around and sing and be British. That's what we got to do, is be British. We Brits do a very different kind of revolution, unless, of course, we're really pushed our backs against the wall. But I don't want to talk about that right now, because I'm not allowed to talk about that right now in the way I'd like to talk about that right now. But what we do, though, as Brits, is we go along with our cups of tea, sandwiches and cake and biscuits, and we have a good sing-song, and we stand there and we shout louder than the other side do. And we shout so we're bloody heard. And we will be heard in this country. You will not beat us, Starmer. You will lose. You, Yvette Cooper, the establishment, you're going to lose. Jeff.
Absolutely. Now, someone says Article 8 ECHR. I think it was actually under Article 3. But Article 8 of the ECHR is right to a family life for everybody on the planet, except the people who live in the UK, of course. That's completely different. That's what's going on here. Now, I did accidentally put up an image of a tweet by Alison Pearson, Telegraph, but I'll just put up the first one that she sent out. When Alison Pearson says, there are some explosive moments in history where a bright illuminating light is cast over the land and we see things for what they truly are.
Absolutely.
The Home Office defeating the people of Epping and denying them the right to protect their kids against illegal aliens is that moment. That is something. I mean, we talked about this yesterday, I think, Richard, when we were saying that this whole thing was going to turn into basically a globalist type fight between the rights of everyone else on the planet and the rights of us in our own country,
yes,
the rights of the settled population. And I was saying things like, well, a judgment of this sort if this is made permanent on the 22nd of October, so that's a really big thing. That's going to be a really big thing, the 22nd of October. This is the first skirmish, and it's bad enough. It's going to get worse. That's where we find out if the police can actually drive protesters away to ensure that the none of the rights of the newcomers are interfered with. Whether hotels will start being handed over to the government because there is no other place and they must be kept to a certain standard. This is where we find out. This is where the people of the UK are going to find out where they really stand in their government's thoughts. Anyway, here's another one that Alison Pearson sent out. In the hierarchy of rights, the Court of Appeal ruled that British people come below men who broke into our country. Do not despair, my friends. Revenge, when it comes, will be all the sweeter. The Supreme Court may yet find for common sense. And that is what we'll be actually relying on. It will go to the Court of Appeal on the 22nd of October. I think what will happen is that the government will win again, and they'll use some form of legal argument, and then it will go to the Supreme Court if the council can afford it. I wonder how much this is costing, because this is the real rub of all of this. All those lawyers are raking it in. They're raking it in.
This is it. Yep, lawfare.
Yeah.
Yeah, the process is the punishment. And they will bankrupt Epping Council first before they give in.
Yes, they will if they can.
You know, have no doubt of that, Jeff. Yeah. You know, the establishment has now effectively written into law that resistance is futile. I mean, you've got the police there. They're protecting the hotels and the people in the hotels, but not the locals. And then, of course, if anything gets a little bit heated this weekend, the media will then start calling people far right, as will the government, as will the establishment. And the courts will then come in, as they have done again. They will shield the government from its citizens. That is what's taking place. The courts are now shielding the government against the will of the British people. Get that into your head. That's the state of the United Kingdom right now.
As Kevin 57 Carter says, it's getting dangerous, folks. Yes. I mean, when a government that you elect and pay for and pay the wages thereof start working against you, then you know that the game's up, don't you? Really? Really? So, yeah. And as I pointed out, Epping Council doesn't come out of this very well either, and nor does the previous Tory government, because most of this happened under them anyway. They're all the same. And I don't care what, Robert Jenrick and the others all say, and Kemi Badenoch. I mean, Kemi Badenoch put out a huge, great statement there about it all. I don't know whether I can be bothered to read this out to you.
Oh, go on, Jeff. I'd like to hear this. You excuse me if I sneer and cough while you do it. You read it, and I'll shout.
I'll read it. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to read out this whole statement. Right, here's the first bit. Local communities should not pay the price for Labour's total failure on illegal immigration.
Hypocrite.
Keir Starmer has shown that he puts the rights of illegal immigrants above the rights of British people who just want to feel safe in their towns and communities.
Yes.
This ruling is a setback, but it is not the end. I say to Conservative councils seeking similar injunctions against asylum hotels, keep going. Every case has different circumstances, and I know good Conservative councils will keep fighting for residents, so we will keep working with them every step of the way. We will be writing to all Conservative councillors with further advice following this judgment and setting out
Wait. Hang on. Why didn't she? What? Yeah. We will be writing to. Why didn't you do this then, Kemi? Why wasn't this implemented whilst there were asylum seekers in asylum seeker hotels under the last Conservative government? Absolute bullshit. Carry on, Jeff.
How many, ladies and gentlemen, how many of these hotels haven't got planning permission? Did you know that the Bell Hotel was written to, I think it was by the Labour government recently, saying they didn't need planning permission to do what they were doing, so they didn't apply. And that's half of the reason for this ruling today. So there's all this sort of stuff going on, and I'm wondering how guilty the Tories were of it. The whole uniparty system is
they're
falling
in it.
apart.
Yes, carry on, Jeff. Sorry.
Yeah.
Just trying to keep my cool.
And we will be setting out our open offer to work with councils and communities to take action. We will also continue to work closely with Epping Council as they consider their next steps. It was open for 3 years under the Tories. I know the Tories shut it down, but it was there for 3 years.
Precisely.
Anyway, yeah. So moving on to the next bit. The public can see exactly who is fighting to keep these hotels open. It's Labour and the Tories, of course, because they opened it in the first place.
Precisely.
Keir Starmer scrapped the Rwanda removal plan, promised to smash the gangs, yet illegal crossings are the highest they've ever been.
He smashed a few gangs in his time, yes.
Yeah. Smash the gangs. Do you know?
Oh, yes,
as
he
far
has.
As,
yes, but that's
as far as I'm
thing.
aware, we're not talking about those gangs, Richard.
Yeah, okay. Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, we're talking about the people traffickers. The one gang that I think they have smashed is the one that was trafficking people out of the UK.
That is true, Jeff. Yes, that is true. Yes.
Yes, I remember that. That was earlier this year it came out.
That's another gang
yeah.
he
smashed. That gang. Because you can't let people out, can you? Cool, they can't be trafficked out. That's illegal.
Oh, no.
Anyway.
Yes, it's illegal to leave Britain.
Yeah. Yet illegal crossings are the highest they've ever been. Labour have run out of options, so the only answer left is to dump the problem on local communities. Well, that seems to be where we're at with that, doesn't it? And only the Conservatives have a thorough plan to expand detention, remove every illegal arrival, and end the asylum hotel scourge once and for all. No ifs and no buts. Kemi Baddock, leader of the Conservative Party. Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, all right.
I mean, all you have to do is think to yourself, it's just like Labour. Labour came in promising to do this, that and the other, and the Tories are the same. They're just the left and right cheek of the same tailpipe. So they'll just talk and talk and talk until we see some of the harder hitting ones going across to another setup, like possibly Advance, if they can pass the test and get in. Then, maybe we'll start listening to them. But I've just had enough of listening to these,
I don't want those people in
people.
Advance. I mean, Advance needs good quality people in there. We don't need this. You know what? We've had a few supers there, Jeff. If you want to go through that,
yeah, Oh, we have, haven't we? Yeah, sorry, I was rabbiting on too much, wasn't I? Yeah, so let's just go through some of these.
Happens.
Yeah, it happens occasionally. Chris Carter, thank you very much, Chris Carter Jackson. Oh dear, now it will kick off. Yes, message to Labour. Yeah, so and Mr. Thing, it says it quite succinctly. Thank you very much. Or Mr. Think. It's now the British people versus the government. I think we'll find out that has been the case for about the last 30 years. Ever since we sort of got, in fact, it might be longer now, 50 years. As soon as we got into the common market and people started thinking, oh, we must look after everybody else. Got to look after the Europeans.
It's always been this way. It's always been this way.
Yeah, it's just
the little people are
you're always fighting the government.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as the government is concerned, it's your money is their money. And it all depends on whether they're deemed to be capitalist or communist as to how much they take off of you. The capitalists leave you a bit more
I blame
in your
the
pocket.
Normans. It's since the Normans. That's it really is. But in particular though, since the Age of Enlightenment, which was another matter entirely. Keep going, Jeff. Sorry. It's now
Yes.
it's now the British people against the government. Yes, you're absolutely right. It really is. They've laid the ground in front of us and they said, there you go. This is what it is. Read the room.
Yeah.
This is how you're viewed. You will shut up. You will comply. It's war. They declared war, effectively.
Yeah. And thank you, John Dingle, for your contribution. This is an example of dereliction of duty, surely, because the government and judges have abused and lost the public trust, which is the definition of dereliction of duty. Does this also allow for planning abuse? I don't know,
Absolutely
but I will
correct.
say that dereliction of duty, yes, what is their primary duty, or said to be their primary duty? Looking after the people of the country is their primary duty.
Indeed.
But that now is not the case, because as far as the uniparty establishment is concerned, the whole globe is our country. So we have to look after everybody else. And we're the rich ones, so we have to pay to look after everyone else on the planet.
Of course we do.
You can't have your own club. You can't have your own club where you live in peace and live in nice, comfortable life. No, that's got to be interrupted now. That has to be stripped from you, because obviously you all got it through nefarious means by going abroad and stealing it from other people.
Even though you didn't do it, one of your ancestors, and maybe even your ancestors didn't do it, but your ancestors happened to live in a country which did do it. And that's something you have to remember. Yeah. So therefore, you need to be vilified, and you need to feel extremely guilty about a past that's nothing to do with you, incidentally, or your ancestors potentially. And there you go. Yes, Jeff, sorry.
Yes. And thank you, KM Thornton, 123. Please, 2030 World Health Organization agenda. They don't hide it, please. Well, the 2030 agenda is actually a whole UN thing. About sort of a general reset of everything. Yeah. And this is, we're just suffering part of it. The thing is, there's only 5 years to go. Only 5 years, and we're going to be under the thumb. And we're banking on a 2029 election to save us. That's why we actually need the election to kick off early. That's why we need to get Starmer out, and whoever takes over for him will make an even bigger mess of it, because it'll either be someone like Angela Rayner, Rachel Reeves, David Lammy, Yvette Cooper. Do you think they're going to make a better fist of it than he does? Fist. Sorry, I shouldn't say things like that, but you get the idea. It's just not. The whole thing is going to fall apart. If we're not knocking on the door of the International Monetary Fund by the end of the year, I'll be very surprised what with Rachel Reeves. And she'll be taxing everyone into oblivion and then wondering why the tax take falls, why no one's spending any money, why there isn't any growth. And do you know what the first thing they'll say is? We need more people in the country because it boosts GDP. Really? That's what they say. They think they bring lots of people in. Everyone has to work harder to feed all these people, so GDP goes up. The trouble is, GDP per capita goes down, so we all generally get poorer, although the whole picture looks bigger. But you have a much smaller part of it, and that's the real issue there. So I have to read the comments a bit first. Thank you, David Lund, 1608.
Thank you.
How have they reversed this? They are illegal, not asylum seekers, and if only half are, the lawyers should still fight it. Treason. Yeah, basically, most of them, I would posit, are illegal immigrants. They come from places that are safe or determined to be safe. They come over here, and other times, when they do come over from a war zone, we hear later that they've gone home on holiday twice that year, to visit friends and family.
Jeff, so, hang on, but we know that some of them are desperately fleeing wars. I mean, how many of them actually come to Britain, leaving Afghanistan, actually fly across on a hang glider?
Loads, absolutely loads.
Ah, right, okay, yeah. That's of course, yeah. That's how they get in, of course, yeah.
Yeah, KM Thornton 123. Thanks again. 2030. Just type WHO 2030 agenda. It's all there. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Oh, and thank you again. Yep. We're really pushing the 2030 thing here. Sorry.
I think he believes it. I think he's got the courage of his conviction there.
Yeah, he has, because he's begging everyone, just type 2030 WHO agenda. Google. Yep.
Oh, yes. Google. It's very interesting.
Surely you should use a different search engine.
Ah, yes. Was it Duck something, isn't it?
Although the platform you're watching this on is owned by...
Oh, yes, this is true.
Yeah, and John Dingle Thank you very much. We know where we stand, and we are not divided.
We are not.
The
No,
country,
no.
we're not. The country is divided between those that love the country and those that don't, or those that love the country and want to keep it generally as it is and moving forward, and other people who would rather it didn't go in the direction we want it to go in. They want it to
Yes,
go in a completely
indeed.
different direction, which is damaging and dangerous to the majority of the people in the country. So those are the people we are divided with. And John Dingle, thank you again. The far left and illegals are laughing at us. They must be. They must be. They must be reveling in this. And it's not just what you say is the far left, the communists or whatever. They've joined up with that certain demographic and they think they're going to win. And we've got to tell them, no, we're not. And the best way to do it, get to church. I said it before Richard did.
Yes, yes, yeah.
And what you got to do is live your life the way you want to do and make sure everybody else knows you're doing it. And then up until now, everybody's been too scared to say what they think in case someone says they're a racist or a bigot or something. No, just start saying it like it is. Start talking to people. And you'll find you got some lefties or whatever you want to call them that go, sort of look at you with absolute surprise. But no, you got to start talking. And once you start talking and openly with people, then things start changing, because that's when the majority suddenly find out they are the majority. And it's all the people that have been shouting at them that are the little minority that have been wagging the dog for so long. It's about time that stopped. Anyway, thank you very much. Oh, and there's another one here. This is from, thank you very much, Wisdom Nuggets Tidbits.
Thank you very
This
much.
is utterly deplorable and horrendous beyond words. Praying for Epping. Clean the Bell Hotel out. Thank you, gents, for your devotion. God protect and bring back the real UK. Yeah, that's what we've got to be, the way we've got to look at this. We've got to bring back what we think is the proper UK as we want it to be. We're the majority. We
Jeff,
shouldn't
this is
be
something.
apologising it.
This is something I keep on thinking about. There's, I'm not going to name it on here, but there's a Facebook group that of a brilliant painter who uses a lot of AI in with their art, showing images of Britain and what Britain used to be like, and it's a bit romanticized. But let's the thing is, it's not difficult to romanticize the past. You just got to look at old footage of Britain going back to the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, even the early 2000s. It was a very different country, even in the early 2000s. But you go back to, I particularly have a fondness for the 1950s, looking at footage of Britain and how it was, and the art, everything that came from Britain was just superb. Filmmaking, the 1950s and the 60s. There's a great film. It's worth watching if you ever get hold of it, called Geordie, by the way. It gives you an idea. And again, you things like the Railway Children in the 1970s. I think it was the 70s, 60s and 70s. And you've got a Britain to look back on. The Box of Delights, that's one. Oh, my goodness. One of the greatest things the BBC ever did. And that was absolutely amazing. You must all watch The Box of Delights. I think it's on ITVX or something. But it just allows you to remember a country where we basically had a different set of values, a different mindset. And the country felt different. It just felt different. As Jeff just said, though, we need to get back to church. I choose the Orthodox Church. It's not woke. It's not woke. So I can go in there and I know that I'm not going, and same as Jeff, I'm not going to be filled with, have a load of woke guff preached at me. I just looked at something now from a church which I used to attend locally, which is church in Wales. And I was saddened by it. It was woke. And I was like, there's nothing there. It doesn't teach me anything. It's deeply saddening.
And the good thing about back in the time frame that you talked about, they didn't have rap back then either. This awful rap music and the words. Everybody says you can't say these words, But rap's wonderful because it's some of the violence in it is, anyway.
Yes, well, yeah, it's an art form in its own right. It's not my cup of tea either, Jeff, I'll have you know. But it is an art form and should be recognised as such.
Okay. Yes.
I mean, one person says here,
And,
rap is poetry, and it is to a certain extent. I do agree. It is a different thing.
Yeah, but
Yes,
all lyrics are poetry. But there you go. And John Dingle, thank you very much. I can trace my family history on my mother's side all the way back to around 1325. Those distant ancestors were yeoman farmers, not a few estate-owning elites who are the guilty ones, including royalty. Don't get Richard started on that one. Don't get him started on that one. And
yeah,
thank
but
you
that
much,
was a very
KM
good point,
Thornton.
yes.
Yeah, most of the countries have mandatory army. I'm assuming that's army requirement. Yeah, that seems to have fallen by the wayside in this country. It's having mandatory sort of military commitments from the civilians is extremely expensive, and you end up with quite a lot of people in prison because they don't want to get involved. So it is a bit of a difficult thing. But when push comes to shove, if someone's invading your country and is beginning to shoot civilians, I'm sure they'll then pick up arms, whether it's against us or the enemy. I'm not quite sure with some of them, but there you go. John Dingle again, thank you very much.
Oh, it's the same one.
That's the same
but
one.
I don't know. But hang on a second. I think this is a, it's such a good point here though that John made. About
the
elites who are. I mean, you've got to think about who the elites are. Okay, the elites are the ones who are at the top, like His Majesty the King. And I'm not going to do another King Charles impression today, unless you beg me. And the thing is, the buck stops there as far as I'm concerned. It's His Majesty's government, His Majesty's courts, His Majesty's judiciary. At the top of every court, you see the crown, you see the coat of arms and the crown. And that should give you a good indication of whose court you're in, who the judges are working on the behalf of. Okay? And that's something you have to remember. And if we don't remember that, then we're going to be appropriating blame in the wrong places a lot of the time. We need to look to the very top, the top of the system, the top of the ladder. Who's at the top? And the lords and ladies that accompany and help the sycophants who kiss the you-know-what of His Majesty. Yes.
Yes, well, I'm going to do what Elon Musk said and talk about raising more flags and pushing forward. We need more flags up, definitely. The sale of the Union flag and the flag of St George, the sales are just rocketing as people go out and buy more of them. I'm hoping they're buying them from British-made places, although there aren't that many left, because I don't want to enrich China with all of this. So there you go. It's
I really don't care. I don't care. I think the flag needs to come out no matter where it's bought. I think this is a wonderful thing. Somebody's saying, "Do the King, Richard." No. Maybe later. Maybe later.
Yeah. Steve Greenwood says the pushback by natives is laughable. Well, yeah, there comes a point at which it doesn't become laughable. It's always saying that, some people just say protest never works. But I tell you, it's working right now. That's why there's a court case. That's why it's going through the courts. That's why lawyers are falling over each other trying to find out which way they can make this go through. The government is working. It's panicking because it might see all these hotels begin to be shut down. So it is working to a certain extent. But it's what does the government do about it? Does it listen to us? Does it start putting in place firm anti-illegal immigration measures? Or does it ride roughshod over us or try to? And that's the process, I'm afraid. It's a process. They have to find out. They need to know that this is it. This is the time they need to step back and start doing their job. They've taken the easy way out so far. Tories and Labour, the easy way out. Do you remember when the boats first came over, when people tried to film them down in Dover and they arrested them for filming on the seafront? Do you remember that? And when they put up all those hoardings around all the entrances so you couldn't film what was going on in the port where they were taking all the people off the border force vessels. Do you remember that? That's how they wanted to approach it. Shut up, do not pry, we do this, you just mind your own business. It's nothing to do with you. That's the way they wanted to do it, and that has been going on. And now the people are saying enough. We've seen you, we know what you're doing, stop it. And it's their response to this that's really important. Not our response to that, it's their response. The ball is in their court. What are you going to do? So, yeah. Now, this
sorry,
is...
Jeff, I'm just going to put something on the screen in a minute. Sorry.
Fabulous Wanderers says, absolute proof that Starmer's government controls our judiciary system for his and their own benefits. Now, when the far-right riots started last year, Keir Starmer went straight out and said, we will be handing out massive sentences, blah, blah, blah. And the independent judiciary stepped straight up to the mark, didn't they? Straight in there. The independent judiciary handed out those sentences, which ended up with a Peter Lynch situation.
Yes.
And people being locked up for a few.
We should never forget that man. That man's name should be... when we're the other side of this, there will be a statue in London of Peter Lynch. Let me tell you, that's something we need to promise ourselves as a nation. And I'm not bloody joking there, neither. That's something we need to do. Jeff, could you put up on the screen something I've just placed there, please?
Oh, right. Sorry. I wondered where that came from. Is that the one?
Okay, yeah, that's from the Daily Express, which had just come out. This is the headline. I'm actually surprised at the headlines coming out and the reaction of the press. Judge who overturned Epping asylum hotel ruling is lefty Labour supporter. We mentioned this earlier, but this is not just in from Guido. It says here, continues to say, the judge that ruled asylum seekers can stay in the Bell Hotel in Epping Forest is a member of the Society for Labour Lawyers. So it does appear that there's a bit of truth to this, unless, of course, the Daily Express is getting this wrong, and I'm only reading from the Daily Express here. Yes, one of the judges that threw a lifeline to Sir Keir Starmer by ruling that asylum seekers can stay at the Bell Hotel in Epping is a Labour activist. It has emerged. Lord Justice Bean, who delivered the ruling today, is a member of the Society for Labour Lawyers. He led a panel that decided a temporary injunction preventing asylum seekers being housed in the Bell Hotel in Epping will be overturned. It meant the Home Office and Somani Hotels, which owns the Bell Hotel in Epping, we've looked into that before, in Essex, have successfully challenged a High Court ruling that would force 138 asylum seekers at the hotel to be removed by September the 12th. So that's not going to happen now. That's just not going to happen. But it does. I'm very shocked at the change in the rhetoric, Jeff, by the press. That's quite interesting, to say the least. And I think I have another one here. I'm just going to double check here.
Well, I'll just show this one while you're going on with that, finding that. Thank you, Blank 9831. What they really want is a war with Russia to send all the white people. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where we're going with Russia at the moment, to be honest. It's very, very difficult times across the world. And Russia is part of the difficulty we're having. And if, the thing is, isn't it funny that actually the armed forces are doing all their best they can to keep the white people out of the armed forces at the moment, which is a sort of a strange situation, isn't it? Because they don't want to employ them. They don't want white pilots, do they? Do you remember that? Yeah. So It's a bit of a difficult one, that one, for me.
Yeah, I got
What do
another
they
one
really
here,
want?
Jeff. For you to, sorry, so thank you to
Right,
Blank
okay.
983. Thank you very much for that.
This is this one.
That's it, indeed. Yes. Whose side they're on. And this is from the Daily Mail. And the headline reads, illegal migrants have more rights than the people of Essex. Fury grows after judge rules asylum seekers can stay at Epping Migrant Hotel. I'll continue to read from the Mail. Furious Epping residents have vowed to continue their protests after the Home Office won an appeal against the closure of their local migrant hotel. Essex police had been anticipating trouble with many as 4 marked vans parked on the forecourt from early in the afternoon, and 10 officers stood outside the controversial accommodation. Migrants had reportedly been advised to stay inside amid backlash following the ruling early today. In a major hearing, the Court of Appeal set aside the injunction. Yes, we know that bit. It just continues to say lawyers for the Home Secretary, Yvette Cooper, had argued that shutting the hotel would set a dangerous precedent that would have encouraged similar litigation by other councils. They're just trying to shut this whole thing down. And it's terrifying, Jeff. Terrifying that our country has come to this. And the government, it appears from what I read there that the judiciary are working in cahoots with the government, that it almost appears political. I might be wrong. I'm probably misreading this because the judiciary are independent. They're independent. No matter what these papers are saying, no matter what the Express says, don't you listen to that nonsense. Oh, good grief, no. They're independent. Carry on, Jeff.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Thank you very much, KM Thornton 123. No, the countries the invaders are coming from. I'm not sure who that's aimed at, to be honest, but thank you very much anyway.
Thank you.
Blank 9831, thank you again. If they shut the hotels down without deportations, what happens?
Excellent.
That is exactly what will happen. That is exactly what will happen. If they shut the hotels down, no one's leaving, or hardly anyone's leaving. What will happen is they'll be put into houses of multiple occupancy, flats, and all the rest of it round the country. They will just blend them in, or try to.
They're buying up
blend
streets.
them in. Yeah. So that's where it's going to be going. Be in no doubt, they're not taking the message. They're not getting the message. We're transmitting. They are not in receiving mode. Definitely not. As far as they're concerned, the only thing that matters is these people stay here permanently. That's what they want. Permanence. Them here permanently. And it is, believe it or not, all down to birth rates. Because even with all this immigration, our birth rate is still falling. Believe it or not, but it is.
Of course it is.
They're looking at.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
The youngsters
Because
today,
we
they can't afford to have
it.
children. They can't. No.
No.
Can't afford to have children.
Yeah. Anyway.
I've got to be careful. I'm saying 'cause I'm getting too angry. But the problem we have is very much to do with affordability of housing being one of the main issues. I mean, we can afford, obviously, to put up 38,000, I think, is it? People in hotels in this country, 38,000.
Yeah.
Let that sink in. I'm not sure. That might be.
And
It might be less. It may be more.
The bar to asylum is so low that it's once they've got them through, they're thrown out of the hotels and off the list. Oh, we got another one off the hotel list. Doesn't mean they're gone. It just means they're now in the community somewhere. So nothing is.
And that's in hotels alone, because there are people in the community already.
Yeah. Thanks, Teresa Miller. Hi, guys. Has there been a poll on who wants mass deportation and who doesn't? Talking to people, I get a variety of views. Many don't get it. Yeah, I think this is gathering steam. If I'd even talked and said the words mass deportation 2 years ago, you wouldn't be listening to me now. It would have been shut down. The whole thing would have been thrown out. The whole channel would have been gone. I remember talking, I used the word flood in relation to this once, and I think the video was taken down. because I mentioned the two words in
Oh.
the same sentence. Immigration.
We couldn't mention Shemaiah Begum.
No.
Remember that?
No,
We had a video taken down for that.
I did a whole video
Yeah.
on it, and that was taken down.
Yes.
Yeah, because
The Overton window has shifted.
Yeah, I was talking about that woman, not in derogatory terms. I was just pointing out the sort of the facts of the situation, and it was still, no, you can't talk about her. Bang, and that was it. So things have changed. Thank you, blank 9831. Yes, no white people now, but when there's a war to get rid of you, they will want you. Yeah, this is what worries me, is that a lot of all the poor young white children, especially boys, are being left behind. But that was the system trying to level everything up, and what they've done is they've just leveled one side down. Instead of treating everybody the same, once again, it's two-tier. Just instead of treating everyone the same, they had to push one side down. And they've succeeded in doing that. And now we find out today, was it today, that the earnings of a British graduate are far below those of foreign graduates who come here.
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
I put that down actually because we send so many people to university. We've levelled our nation's university standing down, because we send all our people there. What we should be doing is they could earn far more money if they learnt how to be a carpenter or a plumber or an electrician than trying to become another golf centre manager or something, which is what seems to be happening. Anyway, that's digressing from this.
Yeah, well, I'd just like to go back to the previous question as well about some people don't get it, and that is very true. It depends where you live. That's another thing that has to be remembered. If you have been impacted by, we'll just say demographic change, you're going to have a very different outlook to those people who haven't. And that is something I've noticed very, very, very strongly. When I visit a lot of the nicer areas, they just seem, oh, yes, oh, it's wonderful. What, these far-right, nasty people, what are they talking about? They don't know what they're on about. These people are, we're all people. It's all relativistic. Societies are relativistic and cultures are relativistic. There's no difference between cultures and belief systems anywhere in the world. All people are equal in their thoughts and their moral values. And shut up and go away, you far-right, nasty bigot. And then, if something happens and certain people move in, there is a change in perception. Can't think why that would be.
No.
Sorry,
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, if you go to leafy areas, people when you tell them there's a problem in the country, they open their bay windows and look out and go, no, there isn't. No problem here. The gardener is still down there mowing the lawn. The butcher is delivering my weekly meat. No problem at all.
Yes, the wine cellar's full. What's wrong with you lot?
Mine's empty.
You live in a cellar.
Gaming, thank you very much. Cobra Gaming says the whole country should take Labour to court. Yeah, well, the trouble is if you take Labour to court, judges will find you guilty because they work with Labour. Oh, no, they don't. They're independent.
Yes.
Dear me. And John Dingle, thank you. 2025 will go down in history as the year the British government betrayed its people and forced a decision upon them that triggered historic events that broke the public trust and social cohesion. Well said. It will.
Ooh, yes.
That is where we are
Yes.
at. That is
That's
exactly
pretty much
where we are at.
That actually dovetails very nicely with what Alison Pearson said earlier about a time when a light would illuminate everything that's going on. That's absolutely correct. We are living in very exciting times, ladies and gentlemen. Let's not forget that. I mean, no, they are exciting. I mean, at least they're not boring. Well, maybe better. Maybe it'd be better if it was a bit boring. I don't know.
Yes,
Okay.
it would.
Yes. But
Yes.
things are the times they are changing. As
Yeah.
who signed that? I wonder. It wasn't me.
And it is absolutely true. At the moment, what's happened is everything's been dark and we've lived our life sort of in the semi-dark, and someone's just put a very flare up into the air, bang, and there you see it. The enemy's advancing and they're very close. So yeah, this is what's happening, and thank goodness for social media actually and stuff like that.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah, blank 9831. Thank you. Buy a few flags, please, or one. How much?
I don't know.
Oh, I don't know how much they are. I sent 50 on your. I set 50 on your walk a few days ago, Jeff. All right. Okay. Yeah. Thanks. If you put some up, that's great. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Yes.
Because I went on a walk, didn't I? I did a live stream as I walked around one of the roundabouts around my town, and someone had put some flags up. Yeah.
I would personally pay good money to watch Jeff climb a lamppost and put a flag up. I would. That'd be excellent.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll be the first. I'll be the only one that gets arrested. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Blank 9831 again. Thanks. It's all by design, gents. Remember, God is truly in control. Well, yeah. Hopefully,
Absolutely.
yes.
Yes.
Well, no,
Yes.
not hopefully. God is in control. There's nothing else you can. And
Yes.
as Powder Ranger says, you deserve what you tolerate. Now, this is very interesting, isn't it?
Ooh.
How tolerant the British people have been. The trouble is that when it wears thin with the British, it's almost like a turning on a handbrake turn. They go along, steaming, and suddenly, bang! And I think we're fast approaching that time. As I said, the government is not listening. They need to listen and start acting on behalf of the poor old people that voted them in and pay their wages to allow people like the Deputy Prime Minister to buy a second home and pay a little bit less stamp duty on it because it's her primary home, of course.
There's a comment here. Sorry, Jeff. Yeah, Stephen Gormer. It's not exciting, Richard. Don't be so flippant. It's scary what's going on. No, I do agree. Maybe the thing is though, there is a certain level of excitement attached to this, I have to say, because after being in such a bloody slumber, the British people, now they are feeling the blood course through their veins. They remember what it is to be British and to be alive. So there is an exhilaration attached to this. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing is another matter. I'm not flippant about that. But I will say this. The lion is awakening. And when he does, he doesn't just go, oh. No. He does it with fire going through his veins. And that's what's happening. The lion is awakening. The British people are awakening. And they're not awakening slowly. And they're not docile in their awakening. And there is a danger in that indeed. But we need to recognize the emotion that is probably traveling up and down this country right now. And the level of passion that people feel. People are not ambivalous. You know, they're not... What's the word I'm looking for, Jeff? They're not indifferent.
Yeah.
To the situation of this country. Sorry. There we go.
And thank you for your contribution, Independent Puppy.
Thank you, Independent Puppy.
Also,
much appreciated.
Also, we have Gdansk Traveller. They want you to kick off so they can lock you up and give your home to a hotel hobbit. Well, yes. If they are just going to shut the hotels, they're going to have to find houses and flats and things to put people into, aren't they? They're not going to let them. They've made it clear in the courts today, no destitution. The only people allowed out on the streets are the Brits who fall on hard times. That's it. They can stay on the streets. Although I will say that there are hotels out there, believe it or not, I saw this, an article buried in the Telegraph somewhere, that actually are full of UK homeless people as well. That's another thing that surprised me. So it's not... there are some out there that are... Because the reporter booked a hotel room in this hotel and turned up, and there were all these homeless people. Now, I don't know where those homeless people came from, but they were homeless. And I'm wondering it's whether they're the homeless people that are thrown out of the government-funded hotels and put into locally funded hotels. There could be a big connection there.
Comment here by Mr.
Yes.
E2643. Lock us up. Where? Where are you going to effectively? Prisons are already full. Yeah, that's a point, isn't it? Yeah,
No,
but
it's simple. It's simple. You take all the lifers out.
Yes, that's
you
it.
empty
Yes,
the
yes,
lifers. You take all
Yes.
the lifers out, and you send them out. And then all the people that moan and put hurty words and make videos on YouTube, you lock them up, and you put them in prison.
Oh, they'd never do that. Jeff,
allow,
they'd never.
yeah.
Jeff, this is rubbish. They'd never allow serious criminals to be released from prison. They wouldn't do that. Oh, hang on. Did they do that last year?
Yes, they did.
Ah, right. Okay.
Yes. Yes, 2020 set the standard for this, and the people willingly rolled over. Yeah, it did.
Yes, they did.
The whole lock us down thing. And
roll your sleeve up, lock them down.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming. The control grid, as they say, is in place. They know it works. They just, if they have to, they'll flick the switch. So yeah. Yes, these are interesting times, as the Chinese say. But here's another comment. This is something that comes up time and again. A hotel owner with 36 rooms offered £37,000 a month for 7 years. Why 7 years? Well, because they think it's going to go on for years. They know it's going to go on for years. They're not going to stop it. This is not something they're going to stop. Remember, Keir Starmer said all hotel use will be stopped by the end of this Parliament, 4 years maximum. And yet we have contracts that go longer than that. You have to wonder, what are they up to? What aren't they telling us? Well, they're not telling us the truth for a start, are they? Yes. Olio says, I hope JD Vance is watching. So do I. Bit of a boost that would give us, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a good point, actually. Humour is a great killer of the powerful. Just take the mickey out of everything they do, says Ross Birch. They absolutely despise it because people stop seeing the regime as legitimate if you do it well.
Well, that's so
right.
true. Yeah.
It is.
Don't forget Spitting Image. Do you remember Spitting? Well, of course we remember Spitting Image, but the original series of Spitting Image. For the first time, a nation knew that every member of the government of the cabinet and the shadow cabinet. It was amazing.
Yes.
It really turned people on to politics. It showed. I believe Spitting Image is part of what brought down the Tory government that time, because. Yeah, it was very, very powerful propaganda stuff, actually, or anti-propaganda, whatever. I just put something up on the screen here, Jeff. If you could put that, if it'll fit on the screen. Yes, there we go. Now this is from the Guardian, okay, and this is what I find quite worrying, is that the Epping Council leader has called for calm after the judge's ruling on Asylum Seeker Hotel UK Politics Live, blah 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 blah. The fact that the council now are anticipating things to get heated is worrying, Jeff. Because that's the only thing I can read into that, extrapolate from that, is that the council themselves, and therefore the police, as you can imagine, things must be really, really at a tipping point this weekend.
Well, they are saying that the people are gathering again, aren't they? For more protests. And I should suspect that the counter-protesters will be picking up their pre-printed banners as well to get on a bus and bus in from Glasgow and wherever they come from to go and
they'll get their taxi in. The police will taxi them in. They'll ferry them in.
The police will taxi them in again, yes.
If
there are any images... No, sorry. If there are any video or images coming out from now onwards of the police doing that, I don't know what the British people will do.
Yeah. I think the
Yeah.
British people are, in general, have been incredibly tolerant of
Yes.
everything that's happened. I think it goes to show that the character of the British people. I mean, one could actually give a counter argument saying it shows how compliant and docile the British people
Yeah.
are, and borderline acquiescent in their slumber. But I think it's a strength, because at that point when the British people do turn, that's when things get nasty.
Yeah.
And I don't want them to turn. I want us to get somebody in who will sort this mess out. I want the right united.
Yeah.
I want a general election tomorrow. And I have a funny feeling when one cannot, that a general election, we've spoken this before, Jeff, that a general election cannot be far away now. It cannot. That's physically impossible.
Even the economics people are saying that with the way this country is being led, we're gonna hit the buffers on the bond market. No more borrowing, and it's all going to fall apart. We're going, and that if we go to the IMF, how can they stay? I mean, it's going to bankrupt people. That what they're doing is going to bankrupt people. People will start losing their homes because of this government. So, yeah.
And that's when things will turn very bloody nasty, I think. I mean, look, we've got two countries right next to each other who are potentially heading for an IMF bailout, France and Britain. You know, think on that for a moment. Wow, what's the contagion on that, especially considering the geographic proximity in terms of trade? You've got two countries that are completely knackered at that point. And what people don't understand is what an IMF bailout means. It means but massive public sector cuts, massive, absolutely eye-watering public sector cuts. But the thing is, what happens if they're still paying for people staying in hotels whilst nurses are not getting paid, and police are not getting paid, and doctors and firemen are not getting paid, and teachers are not getting paid? So, but we have to keep paying for those hotels. Oh, absolutely.
Yes. As the court has ruled, how important it is to look after them and all that sort
absolutely.
of thing.
Oh, we must do this. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm saying it's a good thing. We must always protect those in those hotels because they have the rights which go way beyond the rights of the ordinary Brits in the United Kingdom. No, you slovenly lot. You just shut up and put up. Be good little citizens. Yes. Pay your taxes. Take the pain. Lose your home.
Yeah. And thanks, blank 9831. I hadn't noticed, but you need a mod in here to ban the ones who call for riots and are obviously feds. Yeah, we don't need riots. That's not the way to do it. That if we end up in riots and real civil conflict, everyone who called for it will look back and with horror at what they
absolutely called for. Yes.
It is.
Yes,
it is nasty.
We're not talking about riots
on the ground. Yeah. I'd spent some time in the former Republic of Yugoslavia after it sort of fell apart, and going around some of the areas where some of the fighting between the factions took place. It was, Gaza like. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
So,
that has to be remembered. We're not talking, when I say riots, people are calling for riots. Riots will move on to another phase, and that next phase is where things turn very dark. I mean, that's why you and I, Jeff, have always tried to push for a peaceful solution to this. And there is one man who I believe can help unite this kingdom, aside from Tommy, and that is Ben Habib. He's going to do it. I mean, I'm not joking, Jeff. He's going to do it. He's going to do it. He has to. We have faith in the one person we have faith in. And by the way, tomorrow on Paul Thorpe's channel, it is tomorrow. I thought it was tonight. That's the monumental cock-up I made, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. But tomorrow night at 6 o'clock on Paul Thorpe's channel, Ben Habib will be taking questions from Paul Thorpe, and I anticipate that'll be a very good view. So I suggest you all tune in for that one. We'll be tuning in. Really good. Yeah, we'll be tuning in. Absolutely. Yeah.
So be there 6 o'clock tomorrow night. Yeah. That's why I was in a panic, because I thought we had to get this over and done with by 5:45.
I thought it was
So
tonight. It was tonight. It was my fault. There we go.
So we rushed into this. It seems to be working all right, though. So there you go. Now, Paul Lockwood says, when they look back in history, Starmer and Labour, They will be remembered as the government who broke Great Britain. The end of 1200 years of England. Thanks, Starmer. Well, that seems to me to be where they're going, where they want to go. It's almost like they're pushing it, isn't it? They sit around in their rubber dinghies with £800,000 flats and all the rest of it. And you have Rachel Reeves walking about not knowing what the economy... I'm not sure she can even spell economy, to be honest. She doesn't seem to know much about it. And Keir Starmer is about as... Well, he's got no charisma at all, has he? There's nothing to him. He is just a lawyer. And all he does is we got to obey the law. We got to obey international law. He doesn't want to change anything. He's not changing the law for us, is he? He's making us suit the law. I mean, he needs to grow a pair, you know. Oh, never mind. As someone says, sheep unit. They hear, they don't care. Absolutely, they hear and they don't care at all. Yeah. Yeah. And thank you very much, Gamer Forever 2015 or 215.
Thank you.
Pandora's box is open. The storm of chaos is coming. The world focus its time on censorship, on anime, manga, games, instead of for what happens out in the real world. So basically, it's all bread and circuses we're interested in. And we must all rise up to fight this now, or it will be too late to act. Raise our banner, march to battle. I'm Viking. There you go. Yeah, bread and circuses has always been used, hasn't it? Bread and circuses has always been used to distract people. And they love the football, they love the rugby, don't they? Oh, I'm going to go and support the team while I do the dirty dealings behind the scenes. So yeah.
Yes, and so you know, I mean, I just want to keep that comment up there, Jeff, for a second.
Yeah, sure.
Because a lot of us have got that passion running through our veins, and we are ready to march to battle. Obviously, just talking in terms of protest, no other type of battle I wouldn't be inferring to whatsoever. Under no circumstances would I do that. Absolutely not. But that passion that we've got inside us, please try and focus it as well, as I said, towards the political side. I'm just reading a tweet here from Dan Wootton on X, you know, we still call them tweets, from 3 hours ago, and he's describing the situation as a sickening betrayal that proves the British government hates us, that proves Starmer cares more about international law and illegals than patriots, that proves we no longer have a justice system but a judiciary that works with a deep state against the interests of the British people. Spot on, Dan. Spot on.
Yeah.
And we all feel that today, and we all know that from here on, Labour, I can't imagine them having a seat left after this election. I can't imagine. All right, maybe if they do carry the favour of a certain demographic a little further, not sure they can, because Corbyn's pulling on those strings quite a bit at the moment, and the independents now are moving to the forefront for a certain demographic. More so Labour now will find itself like the socialists did in the Iranian Revolution, where they went into bed with the fundamentalists and then found themselves being hung not long after. And that's exactly what will be happening here. I mean that. I think it's... Yeah.
Unless we start thinking this through now. Powder Ranger, thanks very much. You won't vote your way out of this. Well, yes, we're going to try. I'll just say I'm really hoping we can, and we pick the right person with the right team who give this a lot of thought and then have the backbone and the vitamins to push this through, because that's exactly what we need.
This is what...
The only thing...
This is what David Betts is saying, though, Jeff. This is what Dr. David Betts, who is an expert on civil war, has said, that there is no political off-ramp. And that's why we, again, need to look to Ben Habib and what the move. It's not just a move, it's a political party, but it's more of a consolidated movement as well. It's attracting the right people, because those are the people we'll be looking at. Because if this does go tits up. We're going to need people like Ben and a unified, structured, what's the word I'm looking for? Organisation, entity that will save us.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Rupert Lowe will come on board at that point as well, and Nick Tenconi. We'll all have to unite under the right people.
Yeah.
The people who are prepared to do what needs to be done to save this country. Jeff.
Yeah, and I think you're right there. And Gordon the Gnome says, does this now mean government can force hotels to take migrants, like it or not? This is the sort of worry that I have. If the courts make decisions or make judgments, if it goes to the Supreme Court, which I think this may end up in, and the Supreme Court rules that at the end of the day, the government's position, the government's, the onus is on the government, and they have the requirement, the legal requirement to look after people to a certain level when they enter the country, then that's when it all begins to get very unfriendly very fast, and very interesting very fast, because I think that's where we're going. It wouldn't surprise me within the next couple of years to find the UK laying on ferries either.
Well, yes. Some people, I did hear about some people died. Was it 50 or was it 100 people died crossing? Was it in the Mediterranean this week?
No,
I
it
believe.
was it was off the west coast of Africa.
Okay, yes, right.
120 migrants died or missing or dead on a migrant boat, and I looked at, I thought, no, that can't be. It is on the west coast of Africa. I don't know where they were going to or from, but they were migrating via this boat.
I'm sure Starmer will start putting ferries on straight to Africa then, in that case. That's what he'd probably do.
You know, yeah, there'd be a lot of people, would say a lot, there will be a lot of lefties who would love to see that.
And before we go any further, we'll come to John Dingle's comment here in a second. Ladies and gentlemen, before we go any further, press like on this video. Press the like button. Go on and subscribe. Do it, because most of you lot, you layabouts, you rotters, you're not subscribed to the channel. Come on, press it. If you want more of this, do it. Come on, like, subscribe, and if you really like us, become channel members. Sorry, carry on, Jeff. On to John Dingle's comment there.
Thank you there, Richard. And thank you, John Dingle. The next few months are going to be very telling. They are. It will. I mean, the light will now. As I said, they put the fairy light up. They've shone it, but the fairy light falls and goes out, doesn't it? Now the searchlights are out. All the searchlights, everybody's searchlight is going to be on the government and seeing what they're going to be doing. It's going to be very, very telling indeed. And I'm not sure I'm going to like what I see in the next few months, to be honest.
Yes.
Ah, yes, Stephanie, please tell Richard to calm down, please. I have to
this
put
is
up with
me
this
calm.
all day, you know.
This is me calm.
Yes, and as Daz Welling says, so much hatred for this government, raging anger. Yeah, I do. They live in this Westminster bubble, don't they? Protected by armed police, diversity barriers up everywhere. They get their ministerial cars and all the rest of it. Doesn't take long for them to forget what ordinary people look like or sound like or whatever, or their wants. Because they're now strutting the international stage. They're they're visiting with their rich. All the rich people come. They go and attend big dinners with the rich people. And the rich people say, oh, if you give me a contract to make me richer, I'll employ people. Won't that be good for the economy? You know, and all this sort of stuff. What they need to do is get off the backs of the little people and let us get on with our lives. Yeah.
Just so you can keep that comment up a second. Keep it there. But before I come on to something linked with that, Patrick Christie has just on Twitter said, why is Yvette Cooper hiding from the British public? Absolutely. I mean, I can't. I mean, it's obvious. I mean, It's a very good point there, Patrick. But I think she probably is
Richard,
very much hiding from.
She's just on holiday, you know.
Yes, and also from Rupert Lowe, he has posted on Twitter, I truly detest this government. Absolutely. That's how we're feeling. We all feel exactly the same right now, Rupert. We all absolutely detest everything about this government. Everything. I don't think there's what have they done that's actually been good? I'm just thinking, have they done anything good at all? Nothing.
Well,
useless.
No, Richard. There are a lot of railway people who love him.
Okay.
Because he gave them a large pay rise, didn't he?
Yeah.
And now everybody else wants one as well.
Yeah. Hang on. I'm just getting some stuff here. There's a comment here. Jeff and Richard, it's kicking off in Epping. I really hope not. I'm going to get onto the...
No, can you go and have a look at that?
I'll go and have a look. I'll be back now. You just hold there.
If there's anything there, just put it up on the screen. Yeah. And as Cares 9 says, the problem is the Tories are the ones who caused this mess way back in 2018. They're all corrupt. Yes, they did. They did. And it's not just that. It's all the way back to Blair and maybe before, and all the governments since, including the Lib Dem Tory coalition. This has all been part of the plan. It's either been total accidental all the way through, or coincidences, or they're all working to the same hymn sheet. Now, as far as I can see, it sounds to me and looks to me like they're all working from the same hymn sheet, because whichever government would have been here, if the Tories were still in power, we'd be here anyway, in a different type of way, but we'd still be here because they wouldn't have stopped anything. Yeah.
I'm not getting anything through on Twitter, although I have to say, of late, I have noticed that a lot of these protests on Twitter have been it's shadow banned. Yes. There's something very strange going on with Twitter. I'm just going to try a few other sources now.
Yeah, no, that's a very good point. That happened to me the other day. I was trying to look for information on the latest hotel protests, because if they happen around where I live, then I like to go to them and sort of talk to people and take some footage and all the rest of it and bring the report back. But I suddenly found that everything was about a week old on Twitter. You know, Twitter, the Elon Musk free speech thing. Or X, whatever you want to call it. I just couldn't find any up-to-date information. I think the government is leaning on people to say, don't put any of that up until after the event. Then no one will turn up and the problem will go away. No, all that will happen is people who use other methods to get the message out there. It really is
just a
Right, while you're doing that, Richard, thank you very much, Gamer Forever 215. Protest, but don't start a fight unless it's self-defense. Absolutely. And the biggest, I've watched some self-defense people, not because I'm particularly interested in it, other than to see their take on it. And they all insist the best form of self-defense is not to be there in the first place and putting yourself in a position where you need to use self-defense. But there is a fine line to tread. If you want to protest, then you should go to protest and you shouldn't need self-defense. But don't start a fight. Don't get in someone's face. It's just not worth it. It really isn't, because you don't know who the other person is on the other side. And Capodaccio says, it wouldn't surprise me if the courts a few years from now began giving each migrant a 12-year-old... Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, I won't go any further with that one, but... Yeah. Thank you, Blank 98321. Tusi is live now at a protest, but I don't really trust him. Yeah, Tusi's a nice enough guy. He's all right. Yeah, I know him. I've met him. Yeah, I don't see if there's anything.
I don't know him. I don't know him, but yeah, I don't see. Anyway, Jeff, to be honest with you, I think we've covered this one. Do we have any more?
Yeah, thanks, Fenner755. I'm sick of rich people telling us we have to put up with this, but they live in gated communities. Yeah, this is the thing, isn't it? They live in. It's not just a gated community. They live in a gated world. Their mind is gated by the rich people around them, and their whole way of life, their whole way of thinking is gated into that. They not only think they're superior, but they think they should be, and they think that it's like rich sports people who spout off. Gary Lineker, and all the rest of them.
Yes.
Anyway, thanks very much for watching us, ladies and gentlemen.
Is that every super
it's really
there?
nice to have a little chat. Sorry, I think I've got to the last one there. Yeah.
Great. Okay. Yes, yeah. Jeff. Over to you, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, and thanks very much. And like and comment and subscribe, please, to the channel. Every little bit helps. It really does. This is quite a hard lark to be getting up to. So there you go.
Oh, yeah.
And on that note, I will say it is definitely goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from Mr. Jeff Taylor, wherever he is.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.